The RFS, particularly here in New South Wales, where we're sitting now, is so far behind on its backburning, etc., that we're essentially asking for.
And in Victoria, they stop people clearing appropriately around their houses.
I know it's stupid.
On that, I just think on the maintenance side, when I saw the photos of the transmission towers that were completely crumbled, like they looked like they completely buckled.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of checking the maintenance of those? Because that is not how a huge, metal tower should crumble in winds. And yes, it was windy, but it wasn't, a cyclone that came through. So I think that that's a really important question as well. It's not only about the actual energy itself, it's also the infrastructure and the maintenance of that.
But see, they've degraded the energy infrastructure that we have at the moment to the point that it doesn't work. It can't stand up to what it needs to do, Joe, because all the money has, of course, been going to renewables. Now, if you are an investor, if you're an AGL or Origin, I totally understand why you're investing in renewables, because at the moment that's where you can make the most money. There's no encouragement to keep those coal-fired assets online and in the condition they ought to be, and then something goes wrong. 500,000 homes in Victoria don't have power.
Yeah, well, I mean, the coal companies themselves or the generators themselves don't want to build new coal-fired power.
There's not money for them.
The government's not knocking back applications. They're just deciding they're not going to do it. They're going to run it out. I think the big problem has been extremists in the climate debate, and obviously I fully believe in climate change and that something has to be done about it and that it's man-made. But the problem is that the extremists in the debate, as you say, make stupid, inaccurate predictions. Like we all know Tim Flannery's, it's never going to rain again. And of course that's been used to whack climate activists and indeed, scientists over the head.
When was it? Was it 2004 that Al Gore said we had 10 years
Al Gore
of
and
the world's
the truth and it's all going to end. Tim Blair's got an incredible catalogue that that notates all of them. So that's the first problem. So again, they seem to get off on being sort of apocalyptic Cassandras predicting this kind of Armageddon. And of course, whenever it doesn't happen, that's the ones that people remember. So they should shut up about that for starters. The second thing is that they make the perfect the enemy of the good. And so they become so obsessed with renewables, which are great, which we need, that they ignore fossil fuels, or a particular fossil fuel that is much, much better for the environment than coal, but still not completely carbon neutral, and that is, of course, gas. And so you've had governments of both stripes in Victoria and New South Wales putting moratoriums on gas exploration and gas use. The Liberals in New South Wales and the Labor government in Victoria, you've now seen the Labor government ban gas appliances in households, which ironically is making businesses think, well, if they're banning it in households, it's not going to be cost effective for me to hang around, so we'll go into state. And again, you get this ridiculous situation, which honestly just makes me want to bang my head in a brick wall, where you had, because of the way the contracts work with the generators thought there'd be X number of wind power, X amount of solar power, and therefore they'd need X amount of coal power. This is all priced into their future contracts. And then when the sun doesn't shine, the wind doesn't blow, suddenly they need to fall back on that baseload coal power. And there wasn't enough gas to fill the gap. And so they go back to coal power and end up making it even worse than it would have been if they had have just gone to gas. So again, by making the perfect the enemy of the good, you are actually creating more of a reliance on coal. And yet all the Greens propaganda you see all around the place is no coal and gas, as though they're the same. In fact, gas is about half as bad for the environment as coal.
It's such an important part of that transition that they
That's
keep
right, at least
about.
until we get to 100%
I mean,
renewable.
it's ridiculous to think that here we are in a first world nation and we're talking about people in Queensland having their air conditioners remotely turned down because they don't have enough energy.
That's pretty rough.
See, it's on your hot days. It's only on your hot days when you can't use your air conditioners.
And that's
only when you really need it.
We had it was the energy minister here in New South Wales telling people to turn up the thermostat, and they're like, "Do we live in Australia or those over
This is like
Pakistan
South Africa.
I know.
Maybe that's why the people from Pakistan are coming here.
Well, that's what, when they realise,
I'm getting back on the boat.
Exactly, when they realise they can't turn the aircon on, they'll be out of here.